Okay, so it's time to go through what sold for the week. That would be from Sunday, July 21st through Saturday, July 27th. Before I start here, I'm going to take my glasses off. I hope you're not scared, but I'm hoping to avoid glare on my glasses and having to squint. We'll see if that works any better. So there's the postcard pups. They say hello to you. This, as always, is their day off, so they wish you the best and happy postcard hunting. Looking at the sales for the week, it was another so-so week. I guess that is somewhat to be expected in the summertime on eBay, but I've been a little disappointed over the past several weeks. It's just not quite as good as it should be. Um, our total sales for the week was $425.77. We sold 72 items at an average sale price of $5.91. So again, what are you going to do? Says a week. I guess we'll just have to take it and move on and hope for better sales next week. First item then we're going to take a look at. This is in Detroit, Michigan. This is a spruce log at Palmer Park, and you can see there are holes cut in it and people standing in those openings. So apparently you could go inside this log. I don't know what you did in there, but you could go in there. This is a divided back era card. It was mailed, it looks like around 1910. Can't quite read that date, but a little rough. It's got some edge and corner wear there and some creases, but that card sold for $4.95. Next, we have the Aqueduct in Montezuma, New York. You can see, looks like a pretty long structure there. This appears to be another divided back card. It was not postally used, and that sold for $5.95. Here we have the Philadelphia and Reading Railroad Station in Trenton, New Jersey. Again, divided back card, not postally used, does have some writing on the back, and you can see some creases up here. Whoops. In the upper right hand corner, got a couple creases, but still a good looking card. That sold for $5.95. Here we have a view on Market Street in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. Obviously, chrome era card, postally unused, and I like these kind of views with the old automobiles. You can see some storefronts and some signage there. Those are always interesting. That one sold for $4.95. Next, we have the Gulf Oil map of the United States. This is an advertising card. Similar in some ways to a busy person's correspondence card in that you could check off some different boxes here to indicate what was going on your trip. This is a little bit of a stain or discoloration there on the back. This is kind of a late linen, early chrome era card. I think I had like 3 or 4 of these, and this is the last one. They all sold, and this one went for $5.95. It's a nice piece of advertising, and if you're into gas and oil, that's a good card. Here we have a view at Angola, New York. This is the sandy beach at Camp Pioneer. Here you can see some people swimming. There's a boat out there on the water. This card was postally used in 1955. So we would have to say this is a chrome era card, only there are certainly chrome era cards that aren't chrome. They don't have a chrome finish. This has more of a matte finish like a linen era card would, but it's not a linen either. So we're going to have to say go with the photochrome, even though it's not a chrome finish. And this card sold for $6.95. Here's a nice ship, steamship. This is the steamer St. Joseph on the Mississippi River. Uh, Divided back card. It's unused. If you notice this little number up here, there were a series of these cards, like numbered 1 through I'm not sure how many. I remember seeing them. But it wasn't unusual for people to mail multiple cards in an envelope and then use the back of the cards as like a letter and write a letter that went from card to card, and they would be numbered to keep them in the proper sequence. A nice view. It's in good condition. I probably should have asked a little bit more for this card, but I will be happy to take $4.95 and hope that it's going to a good home. Next up, we have an automobile advertising card. This is a 1965 Rambler Classic 550 two-door sedan. As you can see that there, going down a country road. It's a pretty clean card, postally unused. Nice automobile advertising. If we look over here, you might notice that the start time on this card was initially listed in January of 2017. So that's been in my store for 7 years. But you can also see that there were two. This was the last one, two sold. So I don't know when the other one sold, sometime between 2017 and today. So 7-year-old card. And even though they've been in your store a while, don't be alarmed. They will still sell. Next up, we have the Public Library in Orange, California. Divided back card. It's unused. Pretty nice condition. Just a little bit of corner and edge wear there. That's sold for $5.95. This next card was one of two. Same buyer who bought two cards, both from Cedar Point in Ohio. This is the Lagoon and the Walk to the Eastland Dock. This one is divided back, postally used in 1909. This is the second card from Cedar Point. This is the administration building. This is a white border era card. I don't have the back of it. There was a time there for a year or so where I was just doing the front of cards because the scanning process was rather tedious. That was before I got my Epson scanner. And so I would normally just show the front of the card, and if a buyer wanted to see the back, I would then scan it and post it for them. But this one does not have a back view. If I come down here to the description, it was postally unused, so wasn't much to see back there anyway. But this was the second of two cards that one buyer purchased, and that sold for $4.95. Next up, we have another sale that was two cards to the same buyer. This is one of my laminated reproduction postcards. I've mentioned these before. I have 400 or 500 of these, mostly Pennsylvania views, and some of them are difficult, hard to find views. And someone had taken cards out of their own collection, copied them, and reproduced them and laminated them. Even though they are reproductions, they're still nice cards. This is a view of a train crossing the bridge in Avonmore, Pennsylvania. You can see I have two of these. This is why I still have one remaining. And the second card that this buyer bought was another view in Avonmore, PA. This is the County Bridge and the Pennsylvania Railroad Depot. I guess that's over here at the right. It's pretty hard to see. It's cut off here by these arrows, but That's what that is. This card, even though it's a reproduction, the original that this view was taken from was postally used in 1913. So that's two cards to the same buyer, and that also sold for $5.95. Next up, we have a view in Wheeling, West Virginia. This is the suspension bridge. You can see that there as it crosses a river. A chrome era card, postally unused. Nice clean view, and that sold for $5.95. Here we have another purchase of two cards by the same buyer. The first one here is at the Hampton Roads Naval Training Station. This is titled Semaphore 5, and for those of you in the military, you probably know what semaphore means. To those of you who are not in the military, like myself, semaphore is a way of communicating signals with the use of hand signals or flags, which is what they're doing in this case. So they're practicing their signaling. This card is a white border era card. It's unused, sold for $5.95. And the second card to that same buyer is at the same place, the U.S. Naval Training Station in Hampton Roads, Virginia. And this is a semaphore drill. You can see there's quite a few servicemen there with flags, and they're practicing their signals. So two cards to the same buyer, military topic, and that one sold for $5.95. Next, we have a greeting type card. This would be, I would categorize this in the romance topic. Here we have a gentleman holding a sign that says, "Put me amongst the girls." He's an eligible bachelor and he's looking to find a girl. So here you can see a variety of different women around here. And this card is a divided back, postally used 1909. And good luck to him in his quest for a woman. This card was listed for $5.95, and I took a offer of $5. Here is a view of the Oriental Terrace restaurant, an inside view. That's in Maple Heights, Ohio. Chrome era card, postally unused. Sold for $5.95. I just thought I'd stop for a second to give you a little explanation. As I was talking there, you might have heard some little huffing sounds in the background. And then you saw me kind of chuckle to myself. And what was happening there was Ellie is sleeping on the floor behind me. And apparently she's having a doggy dream. So I'm not quite sure what she's dreaming about. Most probably she came across a box of excellent postcards that she was excited about, or maybe, she found an unguarded bag of dog food. I'm not sure what it was she was dreaming about, but she was pretty excited about it and making some sounds which caused me to laugh. So sorry for the interruption. Let's get back to the video. Here we have a view in Tampa, Florida. These are United States bombers over Lafayette Street Bridge. So we're combining a view card with a military topic there. And that's a linen era card. It is also unused, nice clean condition, sold for $5.95. Here we have a view of the residence of J. Henry Dick in Islip, Long Island, New York. I have pretty good success with cards from Long Island, New York. And even though this card is just a view of someone's residence, it sold for $7.95. It is a divided back era, again, unused, and again, sold for $7.95. Here we have a view of the Industrial School for Boys in Marianna, Florida. This is a linen era card. It's very clean. You can see it's unused. And just checking in here, I forgot to look at some of the ones we just looked at. This one was listed in 2022, so that's been in the store for 2 years, but not anymore. Here we have a view on West Front Street in Plainfield, New Jersey. Divided back era, clean unused back. You can see the street scene there with some horse-drawn vehicles there, and we have trolley tracks down the middle of the street. This kind of a scene has disappeared. We won't see these horse-drawn vehicles or trolley tracks pretty much anywhere. This card was originally listed for $7.95. I took an offer of $6, and just a quick glance up here, I see this was listed in 2015. So that's been in there for nearly 9 years. I think I've said it before, don't give up on a card. If it's in your store, leave it in there. There's still a chance that it could sell. And if you take merchandise off your shelves, people can't buy them. So you have a better chance of selling it if you leave it there than if you take it out. Next up, we have a folder. Now, I don't normally list folders unless it's a specific topic or something that I think is really interesting, because folders generally don't do well at all. But here we have one of Alton Bay and Lake Winnipesaukee in New Hampshire, and this folder was listed for $4.95. I think I took an offer for $3.50 because I probably would have taken almost any offer, because just happy to sell a folder, because that happens very infrequently. And usually when I'm listing these, it's not unusual for a folder to have 12, 16, 18 views. I've seen some that had 20, 22 views, and I'm not going to take the time to scan those. So I usually show the front cover, the back cover to give a good idea of the condition, and then just a couple of the scenes that are inside. And so that, again, that's sold for an offer of $3.50. Here we have a railroad themed card. This is the Erie Railroad Limited crossing a bridge in Susquehanna, Pennsylvania. Chrome card, has the railroad logo there on the back and some more information about the railroad. It's postally unused. It was listed for $5.95. I believe I took an offer of $4.95 on that. Here we have Gus Troutz's Hotel at St. Clair Flats, Michigan. Divided back view, unused. I don't know what I could say about this. A little bit of corner and edge wear there. But this card was listed for $7.95. I took an offer of $6 on that one. Here you have a nice attractive card. This is some representative houses in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, a multi-view card. You can see the different houses here. It is a divided back card. It was postally used in 1909. It's a nice clean condition though, for having traveled around through the postal system. And that card sold for $5.95. Here is a greetings from Rehoboth Beach in Delaware. This is actually a Continental card, a 6x4, so it's newer. It was postally used in 1977, and I may have mentioned before, I don't generally even list the Continental size cards, but I've started to, because they seem to be coming into their own a little bit. I've sold a few of them, and I see other dealers doing the same. So If it's an interesting view and I think it has a chance of selling, then I'll put it up there. This one sold for $4.95, and it actually sold the same day I listed it. Here we have another buyer who bought two cards. The first card they're both of the Lincoln Highway in Pennsylvania. The first card here is the Lincoln Highway in the Allegheny Mountains west of Bedford, Pennsylvania. Here you can see the Lincoln Highway being a two-lane highway, and there's still a significant portion of the Lincoln Highway in Pennsylvania that is still two lanes like this. Some portions of the Lincoln Highway have been bypassed and replaced with other roads, and but some of the existing roads still exist, and there are narrow, windy two-lane roads. So if you're up for an adventure, take a trip on the Lincoln Highway in Pennsylvania. This card is a white border, clean and unused. It sold for $5.95. And the second card that buyer purchased is a view of the top of Scrub Ridge Mountain looking west. You can see also a white border card, postally unused, not quite as clean as the first card was, but it also sold for $5.95. Here we have a residence in Farmington, Washington, the state of Washington, and this is an older divided back card. Was postally used. Can't make out the year on this card. It probably was early 1900s, let's say 10 to 15, somewhere in there. And a view of someone's house may very well still exist today, so this card would be of very strong interest to someone if they happened to live in this house and came across this card. This card was listed originally for $7.95, and I took an offer of $7. Next up, and I think this is the last card for today, is a view of Joseph Ney's department store in Harrisonburg, Virginia. You can see this is a chrome card. It was postally used 1971, although the view is certainly older than that. That looks like some 50s era cars sitting there in front of the store. Got a little bit of a smudge up here, but not too bad. That card sold for $5.95. Before we go on, I have to talk to Lucy here for a second. Lucy, don't be sad. The video isn't over. We still have to look at postcards from my personal collection. Yeah, we're not done yet. So sit tight. There's more to come. What will we look at today? Let's do some more Lincoln Highway. Okay, so we're going to look at some more Lincoln Highway postcards. And before I get started, I just want to say that my Lincoln Highway collection is in albums, and I have it arranged more or less geographically as you would travel the Lincoln Highway from west to east. Now, it's not perfectly in that arrangement because some of the cards are a little arbitrary as far as where they're placed in the order, but it's more or less in that order. So as we go through these, and I hope to do this as we continue to go through these in the future, I want to kind of keep them in that order and take you on a trip from west to east through Pennsylvania. I primarily collect Lincoln Highway just in the state of Pennsylvania. And there is, believe me, there's an abundance of Lincoln Highway cards just in Pennsylvania. I'm sure other states have their share of them too, but Pennsylvania has a lot of landmarks, roadside attractions, and things. And so there's plenty to collect in Pennsylvania. So first up, starting near the Pennsylvania-Ohio border, we have this card. This is the Greencastle Barbecue at Clinton, Pennsylvania, and according to the card here, it is 21 miles west of Pittsburgh. And here you can see this is a nice, interesting card. We've got gas pumps out here. Here's a sign that indicates they have cabins back here that you could stay in. There's a Sunoco gas sign, several Coca-Cola signs. I'm sure this is, as it says, barbecue, a little restaurant in here. So it's a place you could stop as you're traveling to fill up your car and fill up your stomach. Well, I like those kind of places. This is a white border era card. Next up, we have a real photo card. This is the Westinghouse Memorial Bridge in East Pittsburgh. This is a pretty famous bridge in the area. It's still there today, still in use, still carries Route 30 in around the Pittsburgh area. There are many versions of this card. It's available in linen. There's a lot of linen variations of this, also in chrome and in real photos as well, as you see here. Next up, we have the Blue Dell Drive-In. That's also in the East Pittsburgh area, or at least it was. It no longer exists. And drive-in movie cards are pretty difficult to come by as things go. I'm lucky to have this one. According to the sign here, the movie that's going to be playing is Dear Ruth, and some selected shorts, possibly the Three Stooges or something like that. So there's a drive-in movie theater. Moving on, this is just a view of the highway itself. This is the Lincoln Highway between Irwin and East Pittsburgh, where we just saw the Westinghouse Bridge. Now we're headed eastward towards Irwin, Pennsylvania, a small town that lies like between my hometown of Greensburg and Pittsburgh. This is a white border era card. You can see the old vintage automobile here, and also in the sign as a Lincoln Highway road marker. This is a curved sign that attached two telephone poles to mark the way so you knew you were on the right route. If you were able to come across one of these signs today, it would be worth a pretty penny. Road markers, the old road markers from the Lincoln Highway, are pretty highly sought by collectors. Next up, we have B&W Motor Sales. This is an automobile dealer. This is in Wilkinsburg, Pennsylvania, which is a suburb to the east of Pittsburgh. This is a linen era card, and you can see from the automobiles in the window, those look to be 40s era cards, very possibly early 50s, but I would say we're in the 40s here. A nice looking card. Next up, we have Sarah's Diner. This is a multi-view card. Here's the exterior of the diner. This diner was in Irwin, Pennsylvania. So you see the exterior with the old cars, and here's the interior with the counter and the booths, just like you would typically see. This diner is no longer in existence. Next up is the Turnpike Barbecue in Irwin, PA. This was located very near where the Lincoln Highway and the Pennsylvania Turnpike intersect in Irwin. Here we have an ice cream sign. There's some old cars here. Again, this is no longer in existence. It's a roadside stop that has ceased to exist. Next up, we have Clanshar's Esso service. This was also in Irwin. This is an older view of it, a real photo view with the old cars and gas pumps. Here you can see Again, nice signage. Coca-Cola up there, the big writing on the service station itself. And just to show you some time passing, I also have a view here of Clanchards, the same location, a little bit more modern view. This one here being back in probably the late 30s, early 40s, I would guess. This one probably more into the 1950s to 60s. And here you see the station is a little bit more modernized. I'm pretty sure that's the same building, but it's been updated and looks more like the Esso service stations of that era did. They had a more streamlined and uniform look, and this certainly has that. Again, this station no longer exists. Next up, we have another highway view. This is the roller coaster on the Lincoln Highway between Irwin and Greensburg. We've now left Irwin, which was back this way at the top over the hill from here, and we're now headed into Greensburg. Um, this was a famous dip in the road. The dip is still there today, but this road has been widened to 4 lanes now. And there's many things on both sides, businesses and things on the sides of the road. It looks nothing like that now. Again, you might notice there's one of those Lincoln Highway road markers that are on this pole over here. Again, to keep everybody, let everybody know you're still on the right road. Now we're in Greensburg, and here is an old used car dealer. This was the Westmoreland Motor Car Company. It's not a great picture, but this is a very hard card to come by. You can see the automobiles there. This particular location is obviously no longer in business, and I'm pretty sure this is the site where Westmoreland Mall is today. So this is a very built up and busy shopping area with stores and restaurants and businesses of all types. Again, looks nothing like this today. Here, another view in Greensburg. This is All Schaefer's Tourist Home. Tourist home have been basically replaced by motels and hotels, but this was a place where you could stop and spend the night if you were traveling on the road. And usually you could also gas up your car and get something to eat. This was located 3 miles east of Greensburg on Route 30, so still very close to town. This building does exist today, but it's just a residence. Also close by to this, to All Schaefer's, was Ferguson's. This is 4 miles east of Greensburg. So it's another place you can stop and get gas. You can see the gas pumps here, white flash sign. I don't believe they had a restaurant here, but I'm not positive. And they also had some little cabins. You can't see it here, but behind this house, there's a little bit of a hillside, and they had several cabins up there where you could spend the night. This is a card that when I first started collecting Lincoln Highway, this was kind of a prize card to get a hold of. I had seen it several times. I knew some people that had a copy of it, and I tried to get one on eBay at one time, but I was outbid. So I was really having a difficult time adding this to my collection. But my wonderful wife tracked this down for me. We have a friend who also deals in postcards, and he happened to have a copy of this, and she purchased it from him and gave it to me for, I'm sorry, honey, I don't remember exactly because you know how my brain is. It was either my birthday or our anniversary, but she surprised me with this card, and it's a treasured addition to my collection. I also have a couple other views of this from different angles. Going up the road just maybe a half a mile more, we come to Mountain View Hotel, also 4 miles east of Greensburg, as you can see. Mountain View was a very popular stop in on the Lincoln Highway. It was a large hotel. They had a large restaurant. They had a gift shop, and it was a place where a lot of people had wedding receptions and banquets, and it was just a very well known and popular spot in Greensburg. Sadly, this building and most of what remained of it is gone. It was torn down, and the lot sat empty for a couple years, and then we were blessed with a gas station. So, uh, like we don't have enough gas stations around here, so they took away a Greensburg landmark and replaced it with a gas station. So that's kind of a sad story. Also, I didn't mention they had, you can just see it back here, a swimming pool, which was extremely popular with kids in the summertime. People came here to swim, take swimming lessons. And I remember my dad telling me that he used to go swimming there when he was a kid. But it's all gone now. Okay, just a little bit further down the road, and we're headed towards the town of Latrobe, Pennsylvania now. We have Buffett Inn, another rest stop kind of a place where you could get gasoline for your car. You see, they have some little cabins back here where you could spend the night, and they had a lunchroom here so you could get a bite to eat as well. Here's a Sunoco sign up here in the corner. This is a really neat card. I like this one. And it was a popular stop on the Lincoln Highway. Moving on now, we're getting into Latrobe, and here's a real photo view of the Mission Inn. Again, as the Mountain View Inn was popular in Greensburg, Mission Inn was another popular spot in Latrobe. It was near the intersection of two major roads, and it featured gas pumps, as you can see here. They had a beautiful restaurant and dining room. They had rooms where you could stay the night. So, again, it was a full service type of a roadside stop, and it was extremely popular. It also has been torn down, and there are no signs of it remaining today. On the corner here, we have there's an automobile dealer and some other businesses here, and a little further down where their rooms were located, there's a motel there now. So really no traces of this inn left today. A little bit further down the road was another inn, another place you could gas up. This is the Pleasant View Inn. They also, as you can see, had gas pumps, Sinclair gas, nice Sinclair gas sign. That would be worth some serious money today, that sign. You can see they also had little cabins, and I'm going to guess that they did have at least the kind of a lunchroom or a place you could grab a sandwich or something in here. I don't know. I haven't located the spot of this exactly, but I do know it doesn't exist anymore. And again, most of the properties that line the Lincoln Highway between Greensburg and Latrobe, that used to be a pretty sparse area there, but it has grown up intensely over the past uh, 10 to 20 years, and most of it looks nothing like it back then, like it does today. And lastly, for today, I don't want to drive you nuts here. Lastly, for today, we have the Lincoln Highway looking east near Latrobe. This view is on the far end of Latrobe, and we are now looking up the road into what is known as Sleepy Hollow, and this road will take us to Ligonier. So and just to the left of this view where the photographer was standing is the Loyal Anna Creek comes down through here, and there's a dam there that was popular for kids to go swimming, and they're not allowed to swim there anymore, but the dam is still there. And so this will be taking us towards Ligonier, so that's where we will pick this up next time on our tour of the Lincoln Highway. Just a quick note before we close up for the day. In last week's video, I mentioned to you that I went to take a look at another collection of postcards from a dealer that I had known for a long time, and I just wanted to update you on that. Here's a picture of what he had. You can see here in the bottom left, there's an old postcard album that was full of postcards. Here's about 5 more modern albums that he put together of cards. They're not newer cards, but they are newer albums that the dealer assembled himself. Some very nice cards in here. And also there's 1, 2, 3, 4 plastic tubs of cards here that are also nice. I purchased that day I was there this album and this stack of loose cards here that I selected from out of these tubs. He still has these 5 albums and these 4 tubs of postcards, and I told him to figure up what he wanted for those and get back to me, and we'd see what we could do to make a deal on the rest of these. So I'm going to be doing that in an upcoming video, but I just wanted to let you know that's still an ongoing deal, and we'll get back to that when it's concluded. Well, that's going to be it for this video. Please give me a like if you enjoyed watching this video. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already done so. That'll help me to grow the channel and to reach more people who are interested in postcards. And please make a comment if you have anything to say about this channel. If there's anything you like about it, please let me know. If there's anything you don't like about it, please let me know. If you wanted me to do something of one thing and less of another, or vice versa, I'd like to know that. I'd like to hear from you, so please leave a comment. So for today, Ellie and Lucy and myself say goodbye, and we thank you very much for watching our channel, and we'll see you next time.